Welcome back to the second part of our Magritte Eye video. Today I'm going to just add something unique to me and my memory inside of my iris here. Remember the small black circle is the pupil and the area around it is the iris, and that is where Magritte famously put some clouds. So what I want you guys to do today is just come up with your own memory that is unique to you, or it could just be anything really that you want to put in your iris. Get creative with it. I've even seen people do like really cool like rainbows and more simplistic things, and that's fine as well. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and show you my thought process as I draw my own unique memory that I have that I wanted to put in my iris inspired by Magritte. And I'm going to start with a pencil so I can make changes and do some erasing. Notice I also erased a lot of my extra pencil lines. I forgot to tell you to do that in the last video. So make sure if you have a lot of extra pencil lines that you erase those and makes your work look a lot neater and cleaner. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm actually looking at my computer screen. You can't see me, but I'm looking at some images that I took on my honeymoon with my husband. We went all over the Southwest United States in the desert, and we had a blast. It was so fun. So I'm recalling some of the things I remember, like the landscape, and I'm looking at pictures, and I'm thinking about some of the vegetation that we saw, like these desert plants, and I'm breaking the space into different sections. So I've got some different hills that are happening and some sandy areas and some dirt. And I'm just going to start adding some extra details. Like I said, some different plants that remind me of being out in the desert. And I'm going to draw in some mountain lines in the background because I know there's some really cool mountains that you'll see around like Utah and Nevada and even New Mexico. Eventually, I'm going to add a cactus, of course, because it's the desert. And I'm just going to have fun with it. I'm just kind of looking at some pictures and drawing what I see. And some of it is just kind of what I remember. And I'm planning out what's going to go in the sky, what kind of colors I'm going to be using as I'm drawing. I'm going to draw in some clouds. Okay, so I drew everything out with pencil. Now I'm taking my Sharpies and I'm outlining the drawing the way that I like it. So if there's some parts of my drawing that I'm not super happy with, I'm just not going to outline those parts and I'm going to erase those later anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward while I outline all of my lines with Sharpie to make this so much easier to color. There we go. There's my drawing all ready for color. Now, when you color, it is completely up to you how you want to color yours. Don't forget to erase all those pencil lines, by the way. But if you want to use colored pencils, markers, crayons, anything will do here. I'm going to go ahead and test out some of these really cool watercolor pencils and watercolor markers that I found. And we're going to see how that goes and just kind of go with the flow. And I will walk you through it in case you want to try those materials as well. Okay, here are my watercolor pencils, and there's lots of different ways you can use watercolor pencils. The best way I think is to kind of go around the edges with your watercolor pencils. So like if you're doing a section of your landscape, just kind of color around the edges, going back and forth, back and forth. The more you color normally, the brighter and more vibrant your color is going to be when you add water. Now you're seeing me kind of just testing things out a little bit as I go. So sometimes I'm going to tell you to do things that I didn't do just because you're learning from my mistakes. Like for example, if I get my paper really wet and then I try to color on wet paper, what do you think is going to happen? You're right. It's going to be tricky. It might even rip the paper. So I would not use any water until you are all the way done with adding your marker and your colored pencils first. But I do know some people who like to dip their colored pencil in the water and then just they use that to help their color go a little bit more smoothly. And you could do that as long as your paper is not going to be soaking wet. But as I'm going, like I said, I'm just kind of testing things out. And you can see how the water activates the colored pencil. And it's very similar to the watercolor pens or the watercolor markers. And watercolor markers, honestly, are really just washable markers or water soluble markers. So you could do this with like regular Crayola markers as well. So you just kind of color around the edges of some things, and then when you're ready, you add your water to kind of blend it all in. One thing you can do with these, which is cool, is that you can blend different colors together. So I'm going to fast forward this, but you'll see that I'm kind of adding more than one color in different areas. And then I'm thinking about like what new color those two colors will make when I blend them together with my water. And it's like a magic reveal at the end when you finally get to use your water and blend in all the colors. One thing you want to do is be really careful not to get water and unwanted color on the whites of your eyes. The whites of your eyes are the two corners on the left and right of your iris, and you want to keep those as clean as possible. Accidents happen, so if you get some, a little bit of color on the corners of your eyes, no big deal. It's totally fine. You could probably cover it up somehow or just go with the flow. If you look closely at your whites of your eyes, they're not perfectly white anyway. Sometimes as artists, we're kind of trying things as we go and making adjustments as needed, and we don't always get the finished effect that we are thinking in our head, and that is all part of it. You just kind of roll with it, see what happens, and sometimes you might just surprise yourself. So I cannot wait to see what you guys create inside the iris of your eye. And remember, it does not have to be this detailed. I just kind of got really excited and wanted to add as many things as I could with as many colors as I could to make this super fun and exciting. But like I said, you guys could do something a lot more simpler. There could just be flowers in here, a bright, beautiful sky like Magritte. Have fun with it. That's the most important part, and see what happens. I'll see you next time when we add some skin tones to the outside edge of our eyelid and around the outside of our eye. Love, your cozy art teacher.